All right, this is part two. That way you guys know. That way you guys know. I'm not as confused, obviously. So whenever I say good evening, this is Ivan O'Mara. You guys obviously know it's part one. I forgot to mention part one in my first part, so I'm gonna say this. This is part two. That way you guys know my next video will be part two. Whenever I say I have this amount of time left, it's always part three. Obviously, it's always the third part. Whenever you have like 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes left, that's the final part, obviously. So this is part two of my video. I'll babble on for another 30 minutes, then I'll read the remaining chapter of what the remaining chapter of Lord of the Rings of chapter 5, Lord of the Rings, Conspiracy Unmasked. To all you Lord of the Rings fans, you gotta bear with me here, as I'm trying my best to pump out these videos. Obviously, yeah. I feel much better, by the way. My nose is still a little bit stuffed. In a good couple days, I should recover fully from my stuffy nose. So my nose is still a little stuffed. It's been stuffed for a good 5, 6 days now, around there, right? So probably around Saturday, Sunday, I should be fully recovered from the sickness, obviously. Right. So when I keep saying this, man, I'm giving to all you Hollywood actors out there who are watching my videos. I'm talking to you guys. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm giving your agents a heads up. You can try your best to try and get a piece of me and Mike's royalties. None of you guys are getting a piece of me and Mike's royalties, as you guys are not worth it. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm not even gonna give you 0. I'm not even gonna give you 0. I'm not even gonna give you 0.01% of the royalties. And 0.01% of the royalties is like, I don't know, $750,000 or something. I'm not even gonna give you that. You're not getting a piece of any of the royalties. That's how it works. As they're all gonna try and guarantee you the Hollywood agents, the big actors. The small A-list actors are gonna try and get like 30, 25, 20 million, 18 million. They're gonna try and get that. Whereas the rising stars are gonna try and get like 15, 14, 13, 11 million, 12 million. Whereas the B-list actors are gonna try and get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even some might even try and get 10 million. But no B-list actors are worth $10 million. I'm not paying you that. The highest amount I'm ever gonna pay you is 4 million, but 4 million is even rare, as most of them are gonna be making that 2.5 million range. 2.2 million to like 2.7 million range around there. The B-list actor will make, which is a nice fucking paycheck for a B-list actor. As for television shows, they don't even make that. They get like 900, 700, $500,000 for television, which is a nice paycheck, obviously. Right? All these actors from all over us are all going to try and get more than what they're worth, obviously. But I'm not stupid. I'm not going to let them dupe me, obviously. As nobody's actors getting any more than 4 million. Most of them are going to be making that 2.5 million, 2 to 2.5 million on average. You got to watch for your budget. Hence why for all my movies, I'm going to have a lot of spots open for B-list actors. Quite a few spots open for major roles, open for the B-list actors, because B-list actors are cheaper, obviously. You have 3 B-list actors as major roles, they're only going to cost you 2.5 million. They're much cheaper than the fucking A-list actors. With the A-list actors, you got to watch out how much people you have on board, because they're going to be affecting your budget a lot, obviously. I'm going to have a good 5 to 8 rule, a 6 to 8 rule for the A-list actors. Don't have any less than 6, and don't have any more than 8 for the movie. That way you can balance your budget, obviously. Right? That's why my comedy will be the best money in the business. Hollywood actors chosen for Zayn is going to experience my luxury office. The doc team will be filming them in their hometown for pre-production, production, as well as post-production. They're going to sign that big contract. They're going to experience success and fame with me and my wife. The worldwide international fame of Last of Zanus. Looking at crazy worldwide fame. They're going to experience that fame with me, you know what I'm saying? Well, you guys are all left behind. And because you made me pay my wife, you're also going to pay by being left behind a band. And especially the fact that after what you did to me, you're choosing not to talk to me in the public eye forever. I am never making any videos on my stupid Soundhouse channel ever again. You have no idea how much it pisses me off. I put in all this work. I make videos, and you guys don't even acknowledge. You guys act like you don't even watch my videos. You don't even acknowledge my presence. You think I'm gonna let you do it like that and have me take my time to make free videos for you. I'm not gonna do it like that, man. You choose not to talk in the public eye. Hence, when we were for King Queen, you left out, and you're not safe. You made your choice. You would have seen me in the public eye had you just opened the doors for me and talk about me in the public eye. But because you're selfish, I can't see Ivan have sex because I'm not going to talk in the public eye. I'm going to cause mess in his life. I'm going to make him suffer death and all this stuff. Because you made this choice by purposely causing mess in your wife's life, I'm also going to cause mess in your life. When you went for king and queen, you're left out and you're abandoned from the amazing glory of God. And you guys are going to cry tears. You're going to wish you could take it all back. But it's too late. You chose bullshit sex over Ivan Regis' amazing glory. Go back and watch my biblical symbolism video to get more information on it. That's how you know I'm not playing around. I don't play around with death. I don't play around with this mess. I don't play around with dirt and garbage. Because I'm not interested in having sex with these women. Because for me to make money and get my freedom, I have no choice. I have to pay this bullshit fee. And once I pay this bullshit fee, you got your bullshit sex. Now you got your mess with Ivan and VJ, and you made Ivan suffer death. Now when Ivan VJ king queen, leave them the fuck alone. Let them live their life. Oh, we can't, Ivan. Okay, well then why did he pay this fee to begin with then? Because we wanted to see you have sex. Yeah, I'm not fucking stupid. That's why I'm not going to do him like that, man. No way in hell am I going to let you do him like that. 6 minutes in now. So 24 minutes of Babylon, and I'll read Lord of the Rings. I'm on page 133. On page 133. Yeah. On page 134. Yeah. I have to read a good 8 pages, 7.5 pages of reading today. 7.5 pages of reading, and I'll be done chapter 5 of my read along of Lord of the Rings. Right? Yeah, man, that's how top notch my Skyshine's company is looking at top. And that's why my wife is so proud of me, is because of me, we get to live this amazing life, man. As you guys can see the future. I have the keys. You already know how top notch my Skyshine's company is. You can see the future, obviously, and you'll know how top notch my company is when you watch the documentary, because you're gonna see the luxury office, the luxury jet, me and my wife's 100 minute with Kyle, the 7 teams lavish life. You're gonna see everything that's going on behind the scenes with the crewmen, the technology of the movie. The crewmen are gonna talk about the technology. You're gonna see the technology of the Last of Us movie. You're gonna be like, once you see all the technology, the behind the scenes of The Office, the jet, you're gonna be like, holy shit, Skyshine's is a better company than Hollywood. Yeah, man. Skyshine's will be a better company than all these better technology movie than all those Hollywood movies from the Last of Us movie. You're looking at better, unheard of technology for Zanus. Unheard of special effects, right? CGI technology, set building, air tandem or little devils. Looking at unheard of technology for all my movies, man. For the Last of Zanus, especially for Zanus, because Zanus, I am making the movie for $970 million. And she's looking at unheard of technology for my movie. To the point where even these Hollywood actors are going to be like, wow, man, this is unheard of. And these Hollywood actors are not wowed by anything, because Hollywood has the best technology you can ever get for movies. But because I'm putting $970 million towards House of Zanus, even these Hollywood actors, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this before. You're looking at unheard of set building, unheard of technology for the movie, unheard of special effects. These actors are all going to be shocked by the technology of Last of Us because I poured so much money into the movie, man. Almost $400 million towards special effects alone. $30 million around there towards set building. In Hollywood, they spend a couple million towards sets. I'm spending almost $30 million towards set building. You know what I'm saying? You have the unheard of mass. You're looking at something unheard of. That's why my Skyshine's company, my back itches. That's why my Skyshine's company will be what? The best film brand in the entertainment business. My Skyshine's company will be the best film brand in the entertainment business. Look at something top notch. Best film brand in the entertainment business. Right? We're the best film brand in the entertainment business. Right? I'm gonna keep saying this: no serious people are allowed to work for my company, as I don't want serious people working for my company. As I only want what? I only want people who work in Hollywood, obviously. So when George Lucas helps me and my wife start Sky Source, he's gonna be helping me at putting out the ads too. I'm gonna put out the ads for my 7 team. Right. So once I've hired construction crewmen to build my building for the special effects team. George Lucas will tell me how much special effects people I'll need. You're probably looking at a good 20 to like 40 team of special effects people. So the building out big will be a big building, but I don't want it to be too big. I want it to have enough room for a good 20 to like 40 team of special effects people. You're probably looking at a good 20, 30, 40 team of special effects people. I'll talk to George Lucas, hey, how much people will I need? How many departments will I need for the special effects team? And George Lucas will tell me how many departments there are. That way I can know how much people I can hire. But once that's taken care of, I'll put a good 10 million towards building the building, and I'll put 5 million towards building. I'll put 5 million towards building the building for. So you have a building for the special for me, my wife, and 17, the luxury office, and you have another building that's for the special effects team work, all that stuff. And George Lucas will be helping me with all. Hey, Ivy, you need to build a building. You're gonna need this much people for your special effects team. This is how many departments they are. He's gonna help me out with all that, obviously. You're gonna need to build a building for your 7 team where they're gonna work. Your assistant producers, you need to build a building for your 7 team. Because I only want 7 people. I'm not a fan of hiring a bunch of people. No, I only 7 people is more than enough. 7 people will be what? Making all the business calls. So the 7 team are gonna be the bosses after me and my wife. That's how it's gonna work. The 7 team are the big bosses. So me and my wife are the big bosses. The 7 team are the big bosses. They're in charge over all the crewmen. And then in each section you have supervisors who oversee each section, obviously, of the crewmen and all that stuff. Right? George Lucas will be helping me with all that, obviously. I'm also gonna have to hire a logo person. So my 7 team, I only want members of the 7 team who worked for the big 5. But we're narrowed now. We can narrow it down. That way, me and my wife don't have to look as much resumes. Because if we only narrow it down to the big 5, me and my wife would probably only look at a good like 400, 500 resumes, which is pretty slack. If we look at 10 resumes a day in a month or so, a month and a half or so, you'll be finished looking at all the resumes. So the only resumes me and my wife will be looking at are the 7 team, the doc team. I want only a doc team who worked in Hollywood. Again, the people who did Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you can hire those guys to be your doc. Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I believe, ended. So the people who worked on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you can hire those people to what? To what? To film your documentary, obviously. Looking at an amazing documentary. So I want a docker who worked in Hollywood, obviously. Pay the cameraman a nice $350,000 for the 4 years, which is nice. And the budget for the doc will cover their feeding and their living, obviously. Right? So all the doc crew, their feeding and living is taken care of for the 4 years through the doc budget. So the 7 team are going to have to pay for their feeding and living through the doc budget only. So the doc team are the only people where I pay them through the doc budget. I don't pay them through the movie budget. No, I pay them through the $10 million doc budget, obviously, which is more than enough money to pay all of them $350K and feed them and have them stay at hotels. 10 million is more. 10 million is a shitload of money for a documentary, obviously. So I only want the doc team who worked in Hollywood. You have Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You have what? Kylie Jenner's show. You can hire a documentary work for that show. I believe her show's still going on. But the doc team who worked on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you can hire them to film my documentary for my Last of Us Zane's movie and all my other movies. Obviously. Right? Hire the best doc crew. Hire the best documentary team. I only want the doc team who work for Hollywood, obviously. Working in Hollywood. I don't want independent C-list documentary people. No, I want a doc team who worked in Hollywood. You pay the cameraman a nice $3,000. In the 7 team, I only want members who worked for the big 5. The logo person, I want one who designed the logo for one of the big 5 Hollywood companies. Obviously, so I won't hire the one who created the Lucasfilm logo. No, I want the logo designer who worked for one of the big 5 companies, who designed one of the logos for the big 5 companies. Like Paramount. I might hire that guy, have him design my SkySource logo, obviously. And then the photographers, the 3 photographers I'm hiring, 3 photographers is more than enough. I don't need, before I said 8 photographers, no, you're just wasting money. A good 2 to 3 photographers is more than enough for your company. I'll hire 3. Hire photographers who work for the magazine companies, who took pictures for the models, for those magazines. Hire 3 of those guys. Narrow it down to the big magazine companies. That way me and my wife don't have to look as much resumes. So I'll narrow it down to the big magazine companies. That way me and my wife don't have to look as much resumes. Obviously. And then the graphic designers, I want with I hire 2 graphic designers. 2 graphic designers, I hire the ones who work for the big 5 Hollywood companies who edited posters, pictures with the actors, all that stuff for the movie posters, all that stuff. Hire one of those guys who edited pictures for what? Right, for the big 5 Hollywood companies. And the web designer, I also want one who worked for one of the big 5 Hollywood companies. The way he or she can design an amazing website for you and your wife. There's a good chance a web designer will be a guy, and the 2 graphic designers might be women. Who knows? And the photographers will most likely be women, because most photographers are usually women in Hollywood, right? The photographers, either man or woman, doesn't matter. I'm not a sexist. If I see a good candidate and he's a man or a woman, they're more than welcome to apply. Obviously, and that's pretty much what me and my wife, all the resumes me and my wife are going to be looking at for me and my wife's SkySource company. Whereas everything else, all the other crewmen, when me and my wife start the process of when me and my wife start pre-production, when we're hard at work in the office, all the other resumes, the 7 team has to look at all that. Me and my wife are not looking at all that, man. The only resumes me and my wife are going to look at is the 7 team, the doc team, the logo person. Logo person, you can just call the guy up, but the logo person, the photographers, graphic designers, web designer, and that's it. And everyone else, I will have once I hired my 7 team, my doc team, and then the photographers, you know what I'm saying, graphic designers and web designer, and we start the process of lots of resumes, and my secretaries put out the ads. The 7 team is responsible for looking at all those. The 5 are responsible for looking at all those resumes. Hence why you pay them a nice $2 million. That way they work hard for you, obviously. Right. And worst comes to worst, if they need assistant help, I can hire 2 assistants to help them if I want to. But 7 people should be enough, right? Because worst comes to worst, if the secretaries really need help and they're bombarded with calls and a lot of administrative work, you can hire 1 assistant secretary, pay her a nice $300,000 a year, and have her help them. But I don't. They won't need help because I'm putting money into an advanced system. 7 people is more than enough. You don't need any more than 7 people. As I don't need to hire assistants, as you're just wasting money. I want my company to be big, but I want to keep it simple. I don't want it to become crazy like those Hollywood companies. As in Hollywood, they have this big building and they have hundreds of employees. I'm not interested in that craziness. Hiring 7 people is more than enough. As long as you put money into an advanced system, 7 people is more than enough to get all the work done. To make all the main business calls, obviously. And they'll also have help with the supervisors, and all of them will be helping them in Switzerland also. But the 7 team are the main bosses, or the big bosses, obviously. And 7 people is more than enough to handle all the business for them. More than enough to handle business. The only reason why in Hollywood they hire so much people is because they're lazy. They don't want to put in the work. There's no point of hiring like 15, 20, 30 people when you can easily have your 7 team do all the work. As long as you pay them a good salary, rich salary, and you put money into an advanced system, the 7 people is more than enough to get the job done and make all the business calls. That's how top-notch my SkySource company is. And I was showing you guys many pictures of the luxury office, the kind of luxury jet I'm going to own, my 100 million with a condo. Those Hollywood actors are going to get to part out my condo. A nice 100. Like even though these Hollywood celebrities are really, really rich, once they step into my condo, even they're going to be a bit wowed. Because none of them can afford to own a $100 million condo. Most of them don't even have that in their bank. So me owning a $100 million condo is unheard of. When they see my condo, even they're going to be like, holy shit, this is nice. Because most of those Hollywood celebrities, they own like a $4, $5, $6, $8, $10 million, $20 million house. Which is a nice house, obviously. But a $20 million house is not the same thing as a $100 million rooftop condo. $100 million rooftop condo is unheard of. As even those rich big A-listers, when they walk into my condo, when they see my condo for the first time, even they're going to be a bit wowed. They're not going to be as wowed because those guys are already rich and they have money and they own nice houses too and all that stuff. But a $100 million condo on top of the roof is unheard of, man. It looks something unheard of. It looks something high tech for my condo. I've shown you guys many pictures. You're looking at something unheard of from my rooftop condo, man. Hence why these actors, when they walk into my condo, even they're gonna be like, "Holy shit, it's a nice fucking Ivan. You got a nice crib, man. Nice crib you got here." They're gonna be shocked, yeah, man, because me and my wife are gonna own a nice, like top-notch $100 million rooftop condo, man. It's gonna be top-notch, right? That's how top-notch of a condo we are gonna own, man. It's something crazy. Hence why these actors are gonna bang their ass off, because even though in Hollywood the producers take their actors out, they probably have a few takeouts. They probably part up in their house sometimes too. None of those producers own a $100 million rooftop condo. They probably own a $10, $20 million house. 5, 10, 15, $20 million house. Whereas me, I'm going to own a $100 million rooftop condo. I'm not just owning a $100 million condo. I'm owning a $100 million rooftop condo on top of the roof, which is unheard of. Never before has anyone heard of a condo on top of the roof is unheard of, man. That's unheard of. That's very, very rare. Hence why these actors are going to be lucky because they're going to get to party up my rooftop condo. You know what I'm saying? They only get to party up my rooftop condo one time though. That's it. They only get to party up my rooftop condo for the signings. For the signings, and after that, that's it. Because I don't want to be part of my rooftop condo too much times. They party up my rooftop condo one time, and then for the ad shoots, the second year, I'll party it up in a lounge. I'll party up in my yacht in the summer, depending on what time of the year it is. Obviously, as I don't want to be part of my rooftop condo too much, as my condo is personal, it's mainly meant for me and my wife. I want me and my wife to enjoy the condo ourselves. But I am going to be partying up my condo with the major actors, all my main people, like the doc team, photographers, web designer, graphic designer. Those guys, head chefs, they all party up my condo, obviously, because they're my main people. And the 17 parties up my condo, and that's it. And everyone else, all the other crew and the main actors, and everyone else in the crewmen, they all party up in a lounge. If it's winter, spring, and in the summer and fall, they party up in my yacht. My nice, like, $35 million yacht. That's what I'm talking about. I've shown you many pictures. I've shown you guys many designs of the kind of yacht I'm going to own. Me and my wife are going to own a nice, like, $35 million yacht. I don't want to get, like, a $100 million yacht. You're just wasting money. I don't want to get, like, a $100 million jet. No. A $75 million jet's nice. And a $35 million yacht's more than good enough. I'm not going to get, like, a $50, $60, $70 million yacht. You're just wasting money. A $35 million yacht's good enough. And those actors will be partying up in my yacht. Partying up in the yacht's nice, man. Doing table reads in the yacht's fucking nice. Every day in the summer and fall, you go on my yacht, someone drives in the ocean, and you do a table read with a beer. Because my table reads, I'm only going to do my table reads for a good 2 hours. So for a good 2 hours, everyone's in your yacht, sits down in your yacht, someone drives around the ocean, you do table reads for a nice 2 hours. Which is nice. It's a nice perk. They also get to party up once a month, the third year, in my yacht in the summer and fall. In the wintertime, they party up in a lounge. I book a nice lounge, and put some music on, and all the actors, they get to party up in a lounge. You book a lounge, and they party up in a lounge. It's something top notch. 23 minutes here. That's how top notch my Skyscraper company would be, man. You're looking at something top notch. That's how top notch. That's how top notch my SkySource company is. Looking at the best company in the world. Be SkySource Entertainment, and the bottom the Canadian. I'm going to tell the logo person I want to say SkySource Entertainment, and then the bottom it says the Canadian Film Company, because it's the biggest. SkySource is the biggest what? It's the biggest company in the biggest film company in the world. That's why I'm going to call it the Canadian Film Company. Before I said a Canadian Film Company, no, I'm going to call it the Canadian Film Company because it's the biggest film brand. The biggest Canadian film brand in the world. And so I'm going to call it the Canadian Film Company. This is top notch. That's how top notch of a what? That's how top notch of a what? Of a company me and my wife are going to own, man. You're looking at something top notch. And so my wife is so proud of me. It's because of me. You get to live this amazing life, obviously. And the head chefs, I'll be putting out. I'm going to tell my 17, I'm going to tell them, look, man, if Eric Chong applies, there's a good chance I might just give the guy a call, man. because I really want him as one of my head chefs. There's a good chance for the head chefs. I might even just I might put on that for two head chefs in Canada who live in Canada, and Eric Chong. I might give the guy a call and hey, look, man, I've seen you on MasterChef. You're amazing. You own R&D. You own R&D with one of the respected judges on the show. I think you're a good candidate for my head chef. I want to hire you. I might give him a call, and he'll be joined. And if he's hired, he'll be joined for joy, obviously, as he'll be saved for decades to come. He's gonna get to cook food for Ivan's movie. He's gonna be saved. Same time I'm paying you $400,000, which most chefs in the world will never ever make that kind of money. $400,000 is most chefs in the world don't make that. The only chefs who make $400,000 a year are the chefs who are like celebrity chefs who are very successwul. Who you see on shows and all stuff, judges on shows and all stuff like MasterChef and all stuff. Those chefs they make a good for example. Making $400,000 is a nice paycheck, man, for a fucking chef. That's a very nice. Eric Chong, if he were hired, he'd be joined for joy, and he'll be living a good fucking life. So, we're living an amazing life. If you're making $400,000 a year after taxes, that's $240,000 in your bank. So after each movie project, you'll be walking away with $240,000 in your bank. Do a lot of good things with $240,000. He's living an amazing life. Buy a nice house, go on and feed his family well, buy nice cars. You can get it. If you're making $4,000 a year, you can buy a nice Benz. Pretty big cut on your budget, but you can buy a nice Benz, nice cars for yourself. You'll be living an amazing life, obviously. And if Eric Chong is hired, he's a lucky one, obviously. There's a good chance I am going to hire him. I'll give him a call, and if he's chosen, he's a lucky one. Obviously, he'll be lucky. Obviously, and for my head chefs, I want the chefs to be Canadian. That way, the rates don't affect their salary. So for the head chefs, I'll narrow it down. The chef has to be Canadian, and he has to he or she has to own a restaurant to qualify for the head chef position. And whoever's chosen is the lucky one. They're going to get paid a nice $4,000, which is a nice salary. And they're going to be saved for decades to come, depending on how young they are, obviously. Eric Chong is like 30 years old, so if he's hired, he'll be saved for like 4 decades, man, till he's in his 70s. But once he's worked for me for 40 years, if he's hired, I'll tell him to retire, obviously. That's if I hire him. It's not guaranteed I'm going to hire him. I'm just giving one. I'm just throwing out some ideas. But there's a good chance I might just give the guy a call. Hey, look, man, I'm gonna tell VJ, hey, I saw this guy Eric Chong on MasterChef Canada. The guy was very, very talented. He won the show, first season of MasterChef Canada. He owns a restaurant with one of the chefs on the show. I think he's a good candidate for one of my head chefs. You give him a call, you congratulate him, and if he's hired, he'll be joined for joy, obviously, because he's gonna be the lucky chosen one saved, and he's gonna be rich too. He's gonna be a rich chef. And I guarantee, because he works for my company, he'll become more famous, obviously. His restaurant will most likely become more famous. And he's going to be like, yeah, I cook food for Ivan's company and all that stuff. I'm his head chef. I cook food for Ivan's company. You know what I'm saying? Working for Ivan is so amazing, man. I got to party up with Ivan owns this top-end $100 with that condo. I party up with his condo, you know what I'm saying? I cook food for his company. I'm the head chef. I'm the boss chef. I'm the one, running the kitchen for all. Because for Zayn, you're looking at a good 30 chefs around there. Because if Eric Chong is hired, him and the other 2 head chefs will be running the kitchen, obviously. They're responsible for telling everyone to prep the food, what to prep. Because the chef's not only going to have to cook the food, they're also going to have to prep the food. As you look, I'm getting food from the farms. I'm not getting cheap food from the store, no. I'm actually going to get meat, eggs, all that stuff from the farms. Bacon from the farms, all that stuff. Hence, the chefs not only have to cook food, they have to prep. Hence why I have to hire dishwashers, as the chefs won't have time to wash all these dishes. And I'm going to hire a good 6 to 8 dishwashers to wash, 2 dishwashers per section, and they're going to be responsible for washing all the dishes, obviously. They have to wash all the pots, pans, the kitchen. For the plates, I might have the plates be plastic. That way they don't have to wash. But if you want your business to be more professional, you have actual plates. It's easier to eat food with actual plates than eating with plastic food. Obviously, you can have real plates. Have nice real plates, but the dishwashers are gonna have to wash all those dishes. Hence why I'm paying even the dishwashers a nice $150,000, because I know washing dishes is death and it's not fun. I've worked in a kitchen before. Washing dishes is not fun. I remember when I worked at Coors, when there were 300 customers, I had to wash a shitload of dishes. Well, imagine 1,500 crewmen. You're looking at a shitload of dishes. Hence why you have to hire like a good 8 dishwashers to wash all those dishes, obviously. And most dishwashers would gladly wash all those dishes for you. Even though it's slave work, they would gladly wash dishes for you if you're paying them $150,000. If you're paying a dishwasher $150,000, they'll actually work harder for you. They'll actually work harder for me because I paid them 150 grand, which you're never gonna make anywhere else. As the max amount of money you can make as a dishwasher is like 35 grand. Even if you work at a top notch restaurant and they pay you like $15 an hour as a dishwasher, you're making like 35 grand. Whereas me, I'm paying you a $150,000 paycheck as a dishwasher, which is fucking nice. And that's why everyone who works for my company, they're all gonna work double harder for me. Even the dishwashers are gonna work double harder for me. Because I'm paying them $150,000. And I've done dishwashing. It's not fun. That's why you pay the dishwashers. Pay the dishwashers good money. Obviously, and that's how top notch my Skyshift's company is. Looking at top notch brand, man. Looking at an amazing company, man. 30 more minutes here, right? That's how top notch what my Skyshift's company will be, man. You're looking at a top notch company. And that's why me and Vijay will be so missed because it's finally going to hit your minds, oh my god, like, Ivan and Vijay totally forgot about their own life. Yeah, man. Once I'm king, I'm totally going to forget about my own life. I'm not even going to think about my side channel. Because now I'm a movie star. I don't know what it's like to be in a big budget movie. I've seen many movies on theaters and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I always said, oh my god, these actors must feel so cool knowing what it's like to be in a big budget movie with all these special effects. Once I act in my own big budget movie, I'm finally gonna know. I'm gonna be so excited to see my movie. Oh my god, I wonder what it's like to see Ivan in a big budget movie with all these special effects, fighting Eritat the devil himself. You know what I'm saying? Being a famous celebrity. You know how Kim Kardashians, you get a glimpse of her life. I'm gonna know what it's like to be a famous celebrity like the Kardashians and Jenners. Because you're gonna see me and my wife's life behind the scenes. The doctor will be filming us. Me and my wife are gonna feel like famous. We're gonna be famous celebrities. As a doctor, we'll be filming our personal life as well as our business life. You're looking at something top notch. That's how top notch of a life me and my wife are gonna live. I'll show my camera over here.